Drew, how did working with Derek Dooley this past year help you in your development and get you ready to play as soon as possible in national football?
Yeah, it was huge. That was part of my decision to come back. I thought about being able to play in Hype's offense for another year, and then when Hype left, Dooley came in and talked to me on the phone for 2 phone conversations, and I was like, wow, this guy's going to get me ready. He's going to get me right. And I think I definitely felt that throughout the year. It was a little different in the offense I ran in the years before. There was less on me, so kind of going into the games, I was a little over anxious. A lot of things had to be done out of my control for us to do well. And then going into my senior year with Coach Dooley, there's a lot more put on me, which it sounds like the reverse. Less on you should be more relaxed. No, it's the complete opposite. The quarterback, you want to have more on you to where you go into games. You're more relaxed that way. You know exactly what's going on. You know how to get yourself out of bad situations. And I think Coach Dooley did a fantastic job of getting me in that mindset.
What did he tell you, though? I mean, what was this? I mean, obviously any coach coming in is going to want to try and retain you for a senior year. Was there anything that stuck with you that Derek said in that conversation?
Yeah, for sure. He was actually at our Georgia game. His kid plays for the University of Georgia, and liked what he saw that game. We actually put up a good amount of points on him that year. And then he on the phone he goes, "Hey, listen, like I said, I was at the Georgia game. You played your butt off. You obviously have a very live arm, and everyone's gonna be able to see that. But I wanted to look at you not just as, you could possibly be my quarterback if I come to Mizzou, but more so, I'm recruiting you to be a Dallas Cowboy. I want to watch you and see if there's enough on film and for us to pick you up as a QB. And he said, if there's one thing I'm going to be able to do for you is going to be able to put those things on film for you. I'm going to allow you to have that film, go talk to these scouts, go talk to these people the next year and be more confident going into those rooms with what I've taught you and with what you put on film." And he couldn't have been more right. I feel very confident talking to everybody. I can get up and draw plays. I can get up and talk about all of our plays if you need me to, how we blocked it up, what our scheme was, what my progression was, and that was a big part of me coming back. So shout out to Coach Dooley on that one.
How much more prepared are you for the NFL? I'm assuming you have no regrets about not leaving last year and that you did come back. So how much more prepared are you now to be an NFL quarterback?
Yeah, no, absolutely zero regret for coming back last year. I needed to learn the things I did. I think I'm 10 times more prepared than I was the year before. Part of me was, like I said, I didn't want to be able to go. I wanted to go in those meetings and wow everybody that I talked to if they asked me about football. And coming out that junior year, I wouldn't say that it would have been up to the standard that I wanted it to be. So now coming out now, I'm 10 times better than what I would have been that year if I would have came out.
What have you heard about the coaching style of John Gruden, especially as it relates to quarterbacks, and how tough are you expecting him to be on you guys?
Yeah, so I went up and introduced myself to him this morning at breakfast, and he's like, "Hey, we'll just sit down a second." I was like, awesome, here we go. And we got to talking, and he's awesome. I loved every second spending time with him, and kind of mid-conversation, he goes, "Hey, Locke, let's talk about that pick you threw at Alabama." And I was like, what were you doing there? Because it was an ugly play. From film, it looked horrible, and I went through and explained everything to him. He was like, "Oh, that makes a little more sense." And then he went into another play that we ran quite a bit in Mizzou. We called it Ernie. He called it something else, and went into how we read it, and how he reads it. It's again just another example of why I should have stayed that last year. I would have came in there and just had my eyes like this talking to him. I would have had no idea what he was talking about. I would have been really overwhelmed. And now I was sitting there talking to John Gruden, and I was sitting there kind of like this. I'm like, I'm ready. Shoot a shot. I'm ready.
Drew, do you feel like you're the best quarterback in this year's draft class?
I want to see you ask that.
Rick Saratella from the NFL Draft Bible.
What's up? I think all of us have a lot of unique things about us. I would love to sit up here and talk about all of them. Love Jarrett Stidham. I'm living with Jarrett Stidham and Tyree Jackson right now. I love them all. But as far as as a competitor standpoint, I'm gonna have to tell you, I do believe I'm the best quarterback in this class.
Drew, you've been training with Jordan Palmer, and all that you mentioned Jarrett and Tyree Jackson. How has Jordan prepared you for this week and for the overall draft process?
Yeah, we've had about a week and a little change with Jordan, so we're just kind of scratching the surface right now. I think one of the biggest things was just getting out there and then throwing an NFL ball. We're used to our college balls. We have to kind of start getting in shape of that. And then as far as the classroom goes, he's going to install in a couple NFL offices that he's winning with us. It hasn't happened yet. We were kind of getting ready for this by kind of a little interview prep, just some of the basic questions they might ask you, and kind of get ready for it and not get caught off guard when they ask you the questions that you're probably expecting in Indy, but if anyone wants to really fuss you there and ask you it right now. That was kind of the main thing.
Drew, what was it like playing in the South Carolina game this year with the rain?
That was an interesting ball game. I played against Dak Prescott my freshman year on Thursday night, and it was a monsoon. And I went to South Carolina, no radar. The radar said no rain the whole game. Came out at halftime, was like, wow, it's kind of raining, kind of hard. Ended up taking my visor off, and it just kept pouring and pouring and pouring. And you look around, like right outside the stadium, it's sun. It was just like there was a cloud sitting on us saying, hey, we're gonna do everything we can to try to mess you up today. And it kind of delayed some of our game plan going into it, but it was definitely a crazy game. It was the biggest rain I've ever even been a part of. Not even just in a game, but just like in my life, I've never seen it rain that hard.
Drew, when you talk about the interviews and stuff, when you talk about kind of the interview process you had to go through or you're going to go through, what do you think you can kind of sell teams on in terms of just the stuff you've gone through over 4 years, kind of being in the spot you've been in, whereas a lot of guys don't play as much as you do?
Yeah, I think there's a definite aspect of starting 45 games in the SEC and making that consecutive, not missing a game in there. It's a pretty tough league to play in. It compares to the NFL really well, so if anyone's worried about durability, I have that to talk about. As far as game plans go, I mean, like I said, Coach Dooley has done a great job. I mean, I'm completely confident in what exactly I need to be able to say and be able to talk to people. And then as far as adversity goes, I feel like I've been through a lot of adversity at the University of Missouri. If anyone knows about our freshman year, or my freshman year, there was a crazy week there in time with the protests and with Coach Pinkel deciding to leave and because of sickness, and bringing that university back from what that was to where we are now. It should have taken a program probably 10 to 15 years to do that, and I'm glad that I could leave the university like that and leave it on a good note.
You hear so much about guys like Carson or Baker coming in here and really blowing teams away on the board. Do you feel like you're prepared to kind of catch their attention in that sense? Yeah,
totally. I definitely feel like I'm prepared for that. If anyone wants to get me up on the board, I'd gladly go up and draw for them, whatever they need to hear. Defense, how we block it up, our 6-man, our 7-man, our 5-man. Some of my favorite plays, 3rd and 7 play, 3rd and 4 play, whatever you need to hear, I'll be there to let you know.
What aspects of the Mahomes comparison do you embrace, and would you actually like to try to emulate when you're at your best?
Well, I think every quarterback here would definitely be like, if I could throw 50 touchdowns and win the games like Patrick Mahomes does, I think we'd all say, heck yeah, what do you need from me? I'll give you whatever you need. But as far as being able to throw from just really awkward platforms like you can, because I think the more and more you watch football, the more and more you really digest it and see pockets are clean, but there's a good amount of time that the pockets aren't clean and you got to make an athletic play. So to be able to do that and be able to try to emulate his game like that would be a huge plus for me moving forward.
So piggyback that off a little bit, Drew, I feel like your legs are an underrated aspect of your game, your ability as a scrambler, your ability to do some of the stuff in the option game and everything. Do you feel like that's something that people minimize that maybe needs a little bit more attention?
Yeah, I think it just might be my running style. When I take off, it's like, this guy's moving pretty slow, but then I don't know, it takes him a little bit to kind of tackle me. So long strides, kind of look gangly when I run, kind of look like the Gumby. People talk about me, I look like the Gumby when I run. I sometimes get tackled really awkwardly and nothing happens. Knock on wood. But yeah, no, I definitely think that's an undermined thing. I was a way better athlete in basketball. I played some really good basketball back in the day, and that's another thing people don't know about me. I think I'm just a sneaky athletic guy that looks kind of gangly when he runs, so it doesn't look that athletic.
To reflect on basketball a little bit for us, you obviously had a good AAU career, had high offers from Oklahoma and Missouri. You obviously hit a crossroads where you went with football. It seems like it's worked out. Just reflect back a little bit on basketball, maybe how it's helped you get to this stage.
Yeah, I always played up in basketball when I started growing up. So my parents did. So my parents had to deal with me crying, getting in the car, and I wanted to go to practice because I was getting bumped around and bullied by some 8th graders when I still had no hair in my armpits as a 7th grader or 6th grader, all the above. It really made me maybe the athlete that I am today. As far as seeing the court, it's kind of the same thing. You got to see a football field. You got to be the facilitator. I wasn't necessarily the guy bringing the ball off the floor, but I did love the touchdown passes on the basketball court as well. And then to be able to say, played against some of the best basketball players, the 6th man for Oklahoma City, Terrence Ferguson. We played against him, Josh Jackson. We played against a lot of good guys to where that competitive spirit that brings in football, you really had to bring it out on the court when you're playing some of the guys that are the best in the country and are making a lot of money doing it. And I'm trying to go play a different sport and make a lot of money doing it too. So it was just a different aspect of competitiveness I had to bring out of me.
How'd you do against Josh Jackson?
it was a loss for us. He played for Each One Teach One, which is a pretty good program. We played him. I think it was down in Dallas. It just wasn't a good time for us that game.
Is there a specific critique of your game that you've heard that you want to maybe alleviate concerns about this week?
Yeah, we can go back to the athleticism piece. I definitely will show that. As far as like rhythm and timing goes and footwork in the pocket, I think a lot of light I can shed on that was just coming from mid-season adjustments. I kept my same footwork from my sophomore, junior year going into my senior year with a completely different offense. The footwork is what I felt comfortable with. The offense was something new, so we weren't trying to change everything. We were trying to keep a little bit of comfortable, aspect of the game into a new offense. And then by the middle of the year, when we started playing better, I was like, I'm done. I'm going to adapt fully. I'm going to start taking these drops and try to figure out the rhythm of the pocket within a progression offense, progression with options, just kind of become a pure quarterback, a pure pocket passer that can get out and run a little bit if he has to. So showing my drops, showing how fluid I can be in the pocket, showing my pocket movement will be big for me this week.
On the opposite spectrum of that, what do you believe your best NFL attribute is?
My best NFL attribute? Well, I definitely feel like I can make all the throws on the field if you need me to. I think one of the biggest things that, besides, I don't want to give you the candid of like tall, athletic, 225 pounds, this is that kind of deal. I don't want to give you that, but I think through the time I had at Missouri with 3 different coordinators, 2 different head coaches, the adversity I faced my freshman year, you throw me in a locker room with guys, I'm going to be able to adapt to pretty much any scenario you throw me in. I'm going to be able to pull a team through adversity. It wasn't always sunshine and roses at the university, but when we get into a situation like that with a program, you can promise I'm going to be the steady head. I'm going to be the guy in there that's going to be the same guy every single day coming into the building, and that's definitely a big positive I want to persuade all these teams.
Jim just said Emmanuel Hall backed out of the game. Did you talk to him at all about his reasonings why or anything? Or?
No, not yet. I actually found out about that this morning, so I haven't been able to contact him. I'm sure it has to do with somehow him feeling he can get better, somehow being not here. I don't know. That's on him, and I'll definitely talk to him. And then if I feel like it should come to light, we'll talk about it. But if it's a private thing with him, then I definitely keep it private.
How did you guys grow together? It seemed like he really helped your game, vice versa. I mean, what was that relationship like on the field and off?
Yeah, no, it was huge. My freshman year, coming in with Emmanuel was, from when he was day one to what he is now, is a drastic difference. He really became the man that he wanted to be by the end of his senior year. I know his senior year wasn't picture perfect. He had the off the field incident with some family, and then with him being dinked up a little bit. But as far as becoming a route runner under Coach Dooley, I think Coach Dooley was great for me and great for him at the same time. Coach Des Bryant, Beasley, Witten, he's been around some really good receivers, and being able to coach Emmanuel for a year, I saw him drastically improve. So I can only imagine if someone gets his hands on Emmanuel for another year.
Drew, you mentioned the success you had against Georgia. I think your junior year, you threw 4 touchdowns. This last season, though, they were really the first defense to give you some trouble. Do you remember that game in Columbia? Did they do anything differently that particular afternoon?
I do remember that game very vividly. As crazy as it sounds, that scoreboard, definitely if you were at that game, you saw that there was a couple plays here and there that if we would have gotten to go our way, it would have been a different ball game. And that's the same for every ball game. I could say that about a lot of games, but especially that game. That game was a big piece to me to go back and reflect on as far as the footwork goes. Wasn't fully invested in the fluidity. I was invested in the offense. I hadn't changed my ways as far as footwork goes. And that was a big conversation we had with Dooley and Austin Carter-Samuels and Jack, my backup who was with me a lot, to kind of change that footwork and try to be more fluid in the pocket, more smooth in the pocket. And that was a big game to go back and draw clips from and kind of show that to myself and kind of show it to Coach Dooley and ACS, say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're going to make the switch. And now they played a really good football team. Emmanuel was banged up. Tried to get him in a couple plays, but really he was obviously hurt. You could see it in the film. Albert made a couple big plays. Just had a couple balls just not go our way. And it's crazy to say that against Georgia, but it's true. There's just a couple plays here and there.
Last one for Drew. You guys good? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.